Welcome to the Congo Hour. This is a different face than you're accustomed to. Trippy's kind of working, and Wayna had to do some other things. So they was looking in the bag, and they found me and asked me to come and share with you some of my thoughts. And I've been very, very, I guess, what's the word, bad, by not coming and sharing with you the Sammy's Corner. Sammy's Corner was, and I designed it to kind of bring to everybody's attention just things that other people don't want to talk about. So I've got a whole hour to talk about what other people don't want to talk about. So I guess you'll either change the channels or turn it low so you don't hear all this crazy talk that I talk. I'm excited about being here. I'm excited about just being alive and healthy and can get around and still meet people and talk to them about old times and just how much progress has been made all over the world, here in Wilmington. And I don't know of any place that I would like to live other than Wilmington. I know probably 90% of the older people, and I know a lot of young folk, and they are all wonderful. The old folk are wonderful, the young folk are wonderful, but they're coming up in a different era where the values that we were accustomed to try to grow into, they don't have to do that, which you'll end up with a different product. I don't think that we insist on being respectful to the young folks. A lot of young folks are very respectful, but there's too many that aren't. And I think that that is part of how some of them get in trouble, because the courtesies that we owe each other and owe everybody, we don't extend them as much as we should. And the values of that, and just expecting someone to be really, really courteous to you and happy and cheerful are just not there. Sometimes I'll walk past a young person and speak very clearly and loudly and ask them how they're doing, and the only thing I get from them is a grunt. And I think that's awful, because they're missing out on a lot, because they're missing out on relationships. When I see a person and I see a smile, or I try to create a smile, or I'm looking for a smile when I speak, no matter whether they intend to speak to me or not, I have them speak to me because I speak to them first. I just think that that's the kind of things that should be in the curriculum in the schools, and practice that in the schools, and let folks know about how important it is to greet people with a smile and almost, I guess, whistle a tune of how happy you really are. And so this is kind of the things that will, I guess, create the excellence in relationships and in how we deal with our neighbors and our friends and people at work, to make this a better place to live. It is a great place, but continuous improvement in what we do is very important to me, because times change and things change. Often, a few years ago, I had a good friend who passed. His name was Jim Gilliam. And we did a lot of vacations together. And I would notice that when we would get into the islands and we went to the real upscale places, everybody was more happy, they were more content, and they had smiles on their face and they felt good about themselves. But when I would go into the outer perimeters of that area, there would be a tendency you had to be careful on where you went. And because people at that time, this was not many, but a long time ago, uh, in those islands, people were making 30 and 40 cents an hour. And so they weren't able to, and they had to keep up with people who was making $20 an hour. When they bought a pair of sneakers, there was not a store just for them. And in order to get some of those things, they many times resorted to crime to get them. And I find that this is a universal problem, that when you go to the neighborhoods where there are privileged people to have nice homes, nice jobs, great education, you get smiles and courtesies. But because people are disappointed and angry about the way they're treated and they have to live, and so many of them are in a situation where they made mistakes early in life. But the way our society is structured, they can never overcome them. So for the rest of their life, for this one mistake they made, they have to suffer. So we have to begin to change, and maybe when a person has made a mistake and they pay for it, that should end the whole stigma that is placed upon them. And so I think the same thing happens right here in Wilmington or Newcastle County or the whole state of Delaware, where I find that young folk make mistakes, and we all made them. But I guess some of us just got away with them, and we haven't been stigmatized with the kind of situations that prevent you from living in these conditions that I just spoke of. So I think that there should be some way that we have a good go-to-meeting time where we meet and talk about changes, and changes that affect people who have had little chance to survive and tried to do something to maybe eat, to feed somebody, to keep warm, to get a coat, to get a pair of shoes, and they don't know where the resources are. They're proud. They don't want to go to some of the resource places. They don't know how to do them. A good example is, how do we get the communications out? I was watching on TV, or I was hearing about the fact that the city of Wilmington had a forgiveness water program, and they had to give some money back. And that shouldn't be. I know there's too many people that need that. How do we publicize and make it easy for people to take the advantage of these kind of concerns, and not just concerns, but opportunities to not have your water turned off, but to get out of the hole when you had a hard time and the water bill keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the fact that having access to where you pay your bill or how you can pay your bill by phone, people that don't have those resources to understand how to make these things serve them also, just like they serve the privileged people, is something that we have to work on. And I'm not trying to make things worse than they really are, but I wanted to make things better than they really are. And everybody can be served with graciousness, dignity, respect, courtesy, and all those good words that make everybody feel happy. When you're courteous to a person, no matter how they feel or what mood they're in, or you are just a real warm, courteous person, and even though they may respond in a non-courteous way, and you just keep on saying, you're too nice not to be courteous. So where's that smile or whatever you want to say to make the situation easier? So I guess in these latter part of my life, I look back over it, and I've almost committed myself to that kind of setting that I can serve being a Boy Scout master, because I don't hear about Boy Scouts anymore. I don't hear about Girl Scouts anymore. And all these resources, girls clubs, create some new kind of clubs. I worked for the YMCA. There were so many club groups there, and they were all designed to make life successful to every person that joined the YMCA. The Boy Scouts gave me experiences that I will take to my grave. They were great. And we had little mottos on talking about the best works of life. I think that the church is a wonderful resource. It has all the tools that will allow you to be successful. I think that the schools are great, but I think that the curriculum that worked 20 years ago cannot work today, because people have changed today. And it's like putting a old motor in a new car. It won't perform like the other cars do. So I'm encouraging folks to just make your community wonderful. You live in that community and be a participating person on all the activities. You can't just go home and shut the door. You know, in these communities where we think people are just doing nothing, they do a lot. They communicate. And they communicate keeping everybody abreast of what's going on in that community, keeping the standards of the community up. And so we have to encourage for more community participation. We got to ask for more and better housing. And I think that we have a great opportunity. We have a gentleman that is the president of the United States, and they send money everywhere. And I think that if we would just be diligent and bring to his attention what he can come back to when he's finished being the president, and the city that he lives in would be not afraid of crime. And crime is where people are put in a setting that breathes and you can't get away from it. So we've got to get rid of those crime settings. Police can't do it. The schools can't do it. It's more within our own community that insists on certain behaviors and be diligent in how things go on in the community. I think it's a crime that I hear people say, I can't go sit on my porch. Well, this is your community, and if everybody who lived in that block got together, something would have to happen. It happens in communities that have the resources to get things done. And people will listen to a crowd more than they listen to one person. So I want you to become more active. And when you go home at night, just say, what more can I do to serve my community? You went to work to serve your family. Now you come home from work to serve the community so that you can sit out on the porch, so that you can smell flowers, so that you don't see a boarded up house, so that you don't see cars jacked up, dirty streets where people just won't want to live in a condition. Nobody wants to live in that condition unless you have to. But that condition in which some people are living can be changed by everybody in that community making sure that there are funds available. If we can send trillions of dollars overseas, then we can send trillions of dollars to little pockets of the community in this town and in this city and in this state that have been forgotten about. And so we need to open our eyes and open other folks' eyes and work as a team. I don't think we get anywhere by threatening. I don't think we get anywhere with violence. I don't think we get anywhere with any of those kind of strategies. But I think that we can get around when we work as a team. People outside of our community can be a resource. And as long as they feel safe, I think they'll be there for you and me and other people. And we must put aside time to serve that community, whether it's a lady or old folks that's in the house and can't get out and cut the grass, go to the store, cook a meal, to show that kind of community involvement. Wilmington will be the best place on earth to live. And people will come from near and far to live here. I know that when the stigma of it being the greatest crime city in the United States was not good for this community, and people reacted to it. They didn't come to live. They didn't want to bring their children in those harmful kind of conditions. I think that Wilmington has changed, except that we are still not providing the resources that change that environment, that breeds unhappiness, that breeds crime. And people need to have different exposures. I think that we have a lot of really cool stuff here right in Delaware. You don't have to go to Montana or Texas or Florida to get a change in your exposure. I think that your exposure is right here in little Delaware, where I haven't seen everything. And so we're gonna take a little break right now, and I'm gonna come back and talk a little bit more about how I think that Wilmington is and will and always be a wonderful place to live.
DETV has been Delaware's premium provider of creative digital and broadcasting solutions that bridges communities and connects people. We create great stories for all audiences. We deliver independent news throughout Delaware. We are digital platform innovators. And we develop marketing and sales solutions so you can stay connected to your audience. Now, why do we do what we do here on DETV? We do it because we care. So, keep watching and follow us on all of our social media platforms. Remember, DETV, online, on air, on time.
Well, I'm back, and I hope you're still with us. And I hope I didn't scare anybody away. I hope that you understand the importance of your role in this city. And so I just can't wait to see more people register to vote. I want all of us to participate and help to choose people who are going to do a better job. We have to vote. We have to pay our taxes. We have to pay, and everybody gets behind now and then. But it's important. The taxes is what makes this city wonderful. And don't feel bad if you aren't up to speed. You know, it's one of those things that happen. But what you really have to do is create budgets and just keep everything lined up in the budgets. I guess you wonder why the Congo Hour came back. I guess I put in more than 50 years of being Congo Funeral Home on Channel 28. It was many other channels, 5, 2, I can't remember all of them, but 28 has been our communications channel, and it was designed just to keep our community communicating. And sometimes Comcast would go up on its prices, and so some people had to divert from Channel 28 to other means of communication. And it surely has affected whether everybody can hear the message from this channel or not. And so we want to get maybe Comcast to understand the necessity of competing with the other communication systems so that we can all hear the same word at the same time. So now I'm here to also represent Congo Funeral Home. And so I am excited about how it's being run now. I think that Trippy and his team is just wonderful. And there was a time when things it was just hard to get new employees. And we sure did not have an opportunity to do our best. But let me tell you, you couldn't find anybody more proud than me to watch and to know the kind of services that Congo provides now. We are probably better than we've ever been. We have great reception, we have great arrangers, we have great automobiles, and we have great facilities. We were proud when we had an opportunity to buy the Christ Our King church and offer not only funeral and church opportunities, but the Legacy Center is a wonderful place to have anything. And it really is reasonable when you want to use the facilities. We have weddings, we have uh, uh, birthday parties, we have anniversary parties, we have baby showers, we have just regular parties, we have groups like steppers. We have that legacy center is probably as good as any place you can go. So if you want a real great place to have any event, just call the funeral home, and someone will answer and let you know about all the great things that we do. And I guess within a couple weeks, we're going to have pictures of what it is that we have. We have great food. All the caterers come there to support folks after funerals, and they do a wonderful job. So catering in Wilmington has really expanded. And I would like to see a lot of those caterers do more corner food. And I would like to see more of the food that I like, other than having to eat food that I didn't grow up on. So if our caterers get together and create some kind of organization where if I want to get some chicken, I can get the chicken or fish or a vegetarian dish from anybody, so that no one wants to cook every day. And so when it's one of the days that I don't want to cook, I want to go to some of the caterers, and I do, and to get something that's great to eat and healthy. And so what you're looking for is being healthy, because that's a very important part of your life. You have to take care of this temple. This temple is yours, and God gave it to us to take care of. And so when people abuse it, like with alcohol and smoking and drugs, and you're really destroying your temple that God gave you to take care of. So we want to get away from that. And when we finish over at the Legacy Center too, we will have what we call an information center. And people at an early age should have an opportunity to visit that center, and we're going to have information that you may have some question about, and then I think we will be able to serve you with information that allows you to leave there feeling a lot better, more knowledgeable, and to give up on those things that make the future for you not real pleasant. And when you get my age and you're ready to enjoy life, because I've had a lot of fun in life, but I didn't enjoy it like I enjoy it now. I mean, just getting old, I think, helps you to appreciate your health, life, and your faith in whoever you believe in, God or whoever. But enjoying that is so important. So don't go out and do things that's going to harm you. Make sure you do things that's going to help you. And I mean your health. Your health is your wealth. Everybody says, gee, I wish I was wealthy. Health is your wealth. And it's the more wealth than you can ever get anywhere, from Fort Knox, wherever all the money is stored, and you don't have your health, the money is no good to you. So just keep that in mind, being healthy and courteous and loving and concerned, unselfish. All these things are going to make Wilmington a better place to live. Take care of your house, no matter how old it is. Keep it clean. Buy some paint. Keep it up, because the old houses really weren't put together as good as they should have been years and years ago. But now you can restore those old houses with good and better product and and allow you to enjoy life and sit on your front porch and talk about things to your neighbors and have some fun. And if the neighbor's baking a pie, they can bring you over a piece or a piece of cake or anything, barbecue, anything. And have some barbecues in your neighborhood. Get to learn people. When people come in your neighborhood, take down a loaf of bread. Take down some cinnamon buns. Take down something, a case of water, some sodas, to let them know that this is a wonderful place and they have good neighbors. And if they need anything, you're there to help them through the transition of moving from one place to another. These are the tools that we need to make Wilmington a better place to live. We must find out how our history is now playing a very important part of your behavior. If it's good or bad, you got to be strong enough, if it's bad, to change it. You got to be diligent enough. If it's good, then improve on it and share it and let people know why it's good and how theirs can be good too. So Wilmington is a place to be somebody. You know, I see that sign all over Wilmington, a place to be somebody. And that is so true. You are somebody. It's just you haven't decided to come out and raise your flag for some of you. For some of you who know there's somebody and raise the flag, I know that you're pleased, that you're happy, and that you're willing to go the distance to be a part of what makes Wilmington tick. I'm excited. I hope that every Sunday I can get on and talk about Sammy's Corner, because Sammy is grateful that he has been able to live this long and to be healthy and to have the friends that I've had, to live in the neighborhoods that I've been able to live in. And I sure wish that everybody would have those same opportunities that I have had. But I'll keep on going on. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to help somebody. I'm going to be available if you need me. I'm not a bank, so I don't have any money, but I have a lot of time that I can share with you and maybe get to you some resources that can help the financial, the social issues that may affect your life. So we're going to take a quick break again, and we'll be back to talk more on Sammy's Corner.
Government doesn't make a move without an agenda, some type of plan. The problem is we haven't been on the agenda. Sometimes we're overlooked. Sometimes our interests aren't the interest of those in power. I'm your host, Kerwin Gaines, on DETV's new show, The Agenda. We're going to do our best to ensure that you, Delawareans, are knowledgeable about what's going on in the Assembly, federal government, local government, it doesn't matter. We're going to do our best to ensure that folks that make the agenda on a daily basis have to answer for it. Let them explain what they're doing. If it affects you, it's on the agenda.
Welcome back to Sammy's Corner, small part of Congo Hour. I'm just so elated again. I can't let any of you know how happy I am that we have moved toward this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful studio. And the fact that Ivan had this dream that he talks about. I remember I had a dream. And my dream was to have a really nice funeral home. And God has blessed me to have that. And Ivan, I'm sure, understands how blessed he's been to have this wonderful, wonderful studio and to provide the professionalism that is required to compete today. So my hat's off to Ivan and all the other people that have really worked hard and have seen the fruits of their labor and can enjoy it while they're living. I know that Cherry and I have really appreciated the fact that we've been privileged to enjoy the fruits of our labor. I know that I'm excited about the fact that our kids can really take over, and now I have a grandson that is graduated from college, and he may join our team. So that will be 3 generations of Congo funeral home people, when I never thought that one generation could really be as successful as we've been. The community has been so wonderful to us. I can't thank them too much. Every time I think about it, I just think about how blessed I've been to have the relationships with the churches, the organizations, and the folks that have just stuck right there with us through the good and the bad, and still we're great friends, and it allows us to smile when we see each other, and that we have just joined a team, and that's what I see. Every time we have a funeral, I call it my extended family, and I treat them like they're my family. They treat me like I'm their family. And so the wonders of why I feel so good and why I won't retire is just that I feel so good every day about the people that I serve, and they just treat me so good. And because I've been treated good, I'm a happy camper. But then I do a little searching, and I do realize that there are people that have not had the resources and the things that I have had. And so I strive for that today, to make sure that everybody has a chance to enjoy life the way I have. I've raised my kids, and so far every one of them have had an education, and I have a granddaughter who wants to be a brain surgeon, and boy, is that exciting to me. And then the other ones that are coming along are not quite sure, but I'm sure that when it's time, they will realize just how wonderful it is to have that education. It adds to you every time. I don't care who you are. If you say that that education has not helped you, I don't think you knew that you were being helped, because it's the way it is. It's the society that we live in today that demands certain prerequisites. And what they used to be when you go to see a job or ask for a job or to see if there's a job available, the first thing they want to do is have your resume. And if you don't have the fact that you are, could I say, educated to the extent that you have a college degree, I don't think you're going to be considered. So, and I'm not trying to say that everybody's got to go to college, but I think if you are trying to think of the right word, a service person where you are, a mechanic or a carpenter, or you work in the hospital with all the technology and learning all that, that's as good as an education. But if you need to be promoted, that's where the education stuff comes in. And sometimes you're not prepared, so you won't be considered. So if you can keep watching me every Sunday, I do want to have someone, and if you would call me up and let me know that you would like to be my guest on Sammy's Corner, I would be thrilled. Because right now I'm speaking all alone, and I would love to have someone to share my thoughts with, and then I would love to share your thoughts with the community. So every Sunday, I want at least one or two people to come for the little time that they give me and talk about what's on your mind, and let the community know what's on your mind, so that if you need to do something about it, it will be done, not with the mayor, not with the president, but with your community. It has more impact than all the other services that you can try to get involved in. The community is the best worth of a life that you can even consider when it comes to getting things done. So I'm going to end here, but I'll be back next week, and I'm going to talk about more about the funeral home and what it offers. I'm going to talk more about the Legacy Center and what it offers, what we're doing with the new building that was Christ Our King School. Now it's a training location for people that are young and need some assistance in getting to where you want to go. Thank you. We'll look forward to seeing each other, and I'll be here next week at 8 o'clock. Thank you, and good night.